following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
I was told I'd be a good boy. I was told I'd be a real... I did terrible. Great start, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 203 of Time to BS with Staniel Smooth. I attempted to do a live show of this last night. Did not work. In fact, I did horrible with it. So much so that I sounded, quite frankly, the worst I've ever been. And if you know the history of this very program, you'll know how impressive that is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Department of BS on the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York. My name is Staniel Smooth, as I just mentioned before, and it's time to BS. Good God. I am wearing a Seahawks hat as a somber note to start the program. I was not looking forward to this day, as it would lead to a mixed bag of emotions. A very mixed bag of just crap emotions, good and bad. But we start things off today with the Seattle Seahawks have announced that Pete Carroll will no longer be the head coach of the football program. He is expected to step into strictly an advisory role. And I'm not going to lie. I jumped up for joy. For different reasons. One, I was sick and tired of 1980s style football, which is fine. I mean, I'm old school and like when it comes to a lot of things. But when you're constantly scoring 17 points a game while giving up 30 the last few years, kind of frustrating. But as the hours have gone by and the day has gone by today, being Thursday, the 11th, I can't help but thinking sad thoughts, which is rather conflicting for how I originally felt. I saw a man who I saw coach my football team for 14 years. And I understand I grew up with Mike Holmgren, so I was not used to, or I was not prepared for the amount of success that this franchise would bring for me for 14 years. And yeah, I'd root for a bunch of other teams, but deep down, like this team that I wear on my hat and I'm literally on my sleeve would always have some love in my heart. So much so that I got it inked on my bicep. Am I grateful for 14 years of Pete Carroll? Of course. I'd be lying if I said that this did not have to be done. Change is necessary for all facets of life. Whether it's sports, whether it's life as a whole, whether it's your job, marriage, friendships, relationships as a whole. Change is good. Nothing wrong with that. I think I'm trying to put together the thoughts. When your defense that you pride yourself on finishes in the bottom 5 in the NFL in every statistical category for the last 5 years, you ain't doing something right. That's for dang sure. When your offense literally has to play catch up every stinking game because your defense can't stop a fly, you have a problem. At the same point, it stinks. It stings the heart a little bit because, again, this is 14 years of consistency. Up and down consistency, I will admit, but still consistency. Am I excited for the future of the club? Of course. Who wouldn't be? But I'd be lying if I said that I am happy for for this time. Yeah, I jumped up for joy like a mad cow when the news first broke at 2:00 yesterday afternoon. But as the hours have gone by, as I said before, I can't help but feel a bit of somber emotions. Pete Carroll brought the only Super Bowl this franchise has had so far in 2013. This man brought forth one of the greatest defenses the NFL's ever seen. You can argue the best since the 85 Bears. And if you're old school and you remember those 80s Bears teams, you know how good they were on defense. But in terms of Pete Carroll's replacement, I think you get on the phone with Dallas and call Dan Quinn tomorrow or today or yesterday. Either way, you call this man. You call this man and you say, hey, how much is it going to take to pry you from Dallas? How much will it take to pry your ass from the Dallas Cowboys as your defensive coordinator? I think a lot of people are expecting Dan Quinn to be the next head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And to me, it fits like a glove. The only other option is, pray to the football gods this happens, out of hilarity, would be Jim Harbaugh. That's the only one. That would be the only other option. You somehow pry Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. What a day. What a last few days this has been. Quite honestly. In other news, Bill Belichick. I mean, let's be real. We saw this coming. We saw this coming for a couple years. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots have mutually agreed to part ways after 24 seasons in New England, which comes to no surprise by anyone, particularly if you watch the Patriots at all the last 2 years. They've regressed horrifically, so much so that they finished with the third pick in the NFL draft, with the third worst record in football. And let's be honest here, it's the same situation with Seattle. It was time. It was time to move on. And I think, unlike Pete, I think Bill Belichick's going to coach this season. Dude's 15 wins away from the all-time record? He's got to be. He's got to be like over 10 wins away from the all-time wins record in the NFL. By the way, in case if you're curious, 347 by Don Shula. May he rest in peace. But in terms of Belichick's replacement, I'm either going to go with Mike Vrabel, who was also fired by the Titans, or Bill O'Brien, the former head coach of the Texans. I think either way you look at it, it's going to be a Patriot guy. I mean, there's no one. I mean, unless you bring in McDaniels, which would be all sorts of hilarious to me. I just, as a New Yorker, and as someone who has precariously hated the New England Patriots for all my existence, well, most of my existence, it feels weird. I'm not going to lie. Because New England has been so dominant for so long, but it's almost like, what the hell is going on here? You suck? Shock of the day. But in all empires, there has to be an end at some point. Whether it's football, baseball, see the Yankees for details, hockey. Let's not forget, in hockey, the Detroit Red Wings made the playoffs for 25 consecutive years. Excuse me. And they won what, 10 Stanley Cups? Montreal won 24. Anyway, I digress. The point is, all great things must come to an end at some point. This is one of them. Which also reminds me, speaking of legendary head coaches, Nick Saban retired. That's the other one. I thought, okay, Saban's got, what, a year or two left? Bam, the man retires. What a shot to the heart that was. I'm not even a big college football guy, but good Lord. I mean, I'd be the first to tell you Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide football team have played cakewalk schedules for all part of 15 years. Anyway, I'll get to that later. Probably. I might not, knowing my luck. But anyway, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. We'll take a quick break before we get on with the rest of the show. My name is Staniel Smooth, and this is Time to BS. I forgot I have to press buttons. There's a mute thing to like the bottom left of me. And I forgot to press the button. That's the problem. Anyway, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 203 of Time to BS with Staniel Smooth. I appreciate you all for tuning in for this delightful journey. Did anyone see the new TNA title belts? Where's that button? They're glorious. Oh my God, they're beautiful. Good, just like Scott D'Amore, the president of TNA. Well, let's just put this in context here. TNA was originally founded in what, 2001? I want to say 2001, 2002, with a partnership with the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA. Then 15 years later, they rebranded it to Global Force and then Impact Wrestling for the last 10 years. 15 years, I think. I don't know. But regardless, they have since rebranded back into TNA as of this month, I would assume. And they have rebranded the title belts, the X Division Championship, the World Title, the Tag Team Championships, the Knockouts Championship, the Digital Media Championship, and good Lord, they look beautiful. I'm waiting for the Knockouts Tag Team titles, but good God, they look incredible. My personal favorite has always been the X Division Championship. That has been my favorite. But it's so beautiful. Just all the belts, yeah. That belt is going to be used a lot in this segment. And that's okay. I'm starting to get used to the whole live stream thing more and more. I was skeptical at first. I'm not going to lie. StreamYard is not my forte, but here we are. Getting into the whole Radio Row thing. But anyway, continuing. And then we get to the AEW fans. Where do I begin? tribalism in wrestling and all sports as a whole just needs to stop. Why the hell are you talking about the team that you represent or the sport that you represent with your undying love? Okay. Let's not pay attention to my Islanders tattoo or the Seahawks tattoo that's on my other bicep. But instead, let's focus on wrestling. The AEW fan base will do everything in their power humanly possible to defend the crap show of a product that it is. And TNA is not much better, and that's okay. The talent is still there. What TNA is doing right is that they are minimalizing the talent that they currently have. And they are maximizing the limited amount of talent that they have, which is good. Exhibit A. Alex Shelley of Motor City Machine Guns is the current TNA heavyweight champion. Chris Saban, who's been around for 20 effing years, is the current, now 10-time X Division champion. Trinity, who you might remember as Naomi from WWE, is the current Knockouts champion. The only exception to this argument is Tommy Dreamer, who's like 60. And the tag team champions are ABC, who are cast-offs from the Bullet Club. By the way, for life. Love me some Bullet Club. But it's this whole consistent argument of wrestling tribalism is stupid. Just enjoy the product, for God's sakes. How hard is this? This ain't hard. Just go, oh, AEW is putting on a good show. Or, oh, WWE looks like to be a good pay-per-view coming up. Oh, TNA, Ring of Honor. Oh, they look to have some good product on there in the ring. Oh, New Japan. Everything looks good. Now it's AEW or nobody. Well, I got to channel my inner Macho Man Randy Savage here. I got to turn down the microphone settings to do this. Well, let me tell you, son. Wrestling tribalism is stupid. Let me tell you that. I gotta get a cup of coffee and fine. I tried. I used to do a really good Macho Man impression. Now I can't. May he rest in peace. But it's one of those things where you say, how can you defend this product that is so bad? I'm talking AEW. Now, early on, AEW was really good. Not going to lie. It was. And then slowly but surely it started to go crashing down, hitting the floor faster than a dead fly. WWE has gone way the fuck up, skyrocketed their ratings, and people and the AEW fan base will consistently say that their product is still great. But anyway, those new TNA title belts. Good God, they're glorious. I love every second of it. Again, that sound is going to be used a whole lot. I'm very just let's talk about the AEW ratings. They are plummeting so bad. They're averaging 800,000 viewers a show, which, when you think about it, considering where they were at one point, is not a lot. To put in perspective, SmackDown this past Friday for WWE, I think did like 3 million viewers. Okay. The biggest mistake AEW ever did was going after Big Daddy. If you go after Big Daddy, you better not miss. So far, they have been like, just like throwing weak ass punches or some shit. Just like, they're barely reaching. That is currently the AEW product. Now, there's still talent, obviously. There are 10 wrestlers that I would easily build around, one of them being MJF. Darby Allin's in there somewhere. Who else? Who else would I throw? Probably Sammy Guevara. I had a whole ass list here somewhere. Where did I put it? It was It's definitely somewhere. Now I'm gonna have to look. It's gonna annoy the crap out of me. It is going to annoy the living crap out of me if I don't find this. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But my point is, there's a bunch of talent that AEW has that you can easily just build around from like 10 wrestlers, 10 or 12. But they choose to go with 10,000. You know, the old expression is less is more and more is less. Right there in front of you, plopped in front of your TV like a sack of potatoes. Speaking of potatoes, anyone else craving fries? Like specifically Five Guys fries. Am I the only one? The inner fat guy in me is terrible. This is awful. I love how just occasionally the inner fat guy comes out and says, "Ooh, fries." You ever get that feeling from time to time? You ever just do like random shit? You're just tapping on your computer, like on your keyboard, and you just go, "Oh, fries." That doesn't happen to you? Am I the only one? I feel like I'm the only one. We're dragging. Help. Do something. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. My name is Staniel Smooth, and this is Time to BS. I'm getting the hang of these buttons. This is exciting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 203 of Time to BS. Mike Vrabel has been fired by the Titans. Well, that's late. Falcons fire Arthur Smith. No big deal with that because that's been incoming. Out of the 8 head coaching openings, which is the best, blah, blah, blah. Seahawks, I mean, that's the most attractive job by far, to be personally honest. Before we close out the show, buttons. Before we close out the show, I wanted to give some real talk. So I've been listening to this book. Keyword is listening because, I like audiobooks a lot better. It's called Don't Believe Everything You Think. One of these things I like to do on this very program is get real. I love doing that. And the whole preface of this book is to talk about, hey, don't believe everything that you think inside your head. Because if we're being honest, our mind likes to play games on us. Which sucks. But at the same point, it's a good teaching moment. Because we can think to ourselves, hey, I know what bothers me. Or, hey, I know what ticks me off. Or, hey, I know what pisses me off. You ever sit down and ask yourself, why am I this way? Why am I angry? Why am I sad? Instead, you go and just be emotional about it. Not to say it's a bad thing, expressing your emotions is good. But I want you, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. I want you to sit back, cross your arms and put your hands on your lap or whatever. And I want you to think back about your whole life, about what you did, what you've been doing, and appreciate the life that you have, not the one that you want. Now, that may come across as a bit dickish. Like, oh, who doesn't want to appreciate a life that they want to have? That's not my point. My point to this whole argument is to teach you that you don't need to chase the life that you want all the time. Sit back and appreciate the life that you already have. Now, it takes practice, it takes time. It's not just going to go like, I can't snap, by the way. It's just not going to come out like that. It's going to take some time. Nothing wrong with that. But we tend to overthink about what could happen or what couldn't happen. Gets us into panic attacks, anxiety, anxious moments. It downright just sets us off the deep end. It's never a good thing to do. But I want you to think to yourself, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel upset? Why am I angry? Why am I sad? What's bothering me? Just turn your brain off and just sit back and go, never thought of it that way. Think to yourself, why are you pissed? Like, I sat down at work today, closed my eyes and asked myself, why am I pissed off? Is it because things are not going my way? Is it because people are pissing me off? Is it because of X, Y, and Z? I don't know. And I thought, I am pissed off because people won't listen to me on what I have to say. Now, in terms of the podcast realm, that's fine because I could give two shits about it. Well, I obviously love the podcast and I love doing what I do. It's not my life. I love doing it. But as I said, I would get so agitated about people not hearing me out on the ideas that I have that it would get me so mad, I'd downright throw something. Because deep down, I know I have good ideas, and that's fine. I say what you want. But my problem has always been just not letting my emotions get the better of me. I think overall, what we can think to ourselves is we could all just sit back and relax and enjoy the life that we have, which is good. Which is good. So with that being said, I appreciate you all for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the great and powerful Staniel Smooth. I appreciate you all for tuning in to episode 203 of Time to BS with Staniel Smooth. As per usual, I'm coming to you from the lovely beaches of Long Island, New York. And I hope to see you all in this life. Well, certainly the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.